What's up, real MVPs? Ricky Widmer here, and welcome into another edition of MVP Games Live right here on either twitch.tv or YouTube. I am joined, as I always am, with my beautiful co-host, Soapy Muffin.
Hey.
Soapy, today, before I ask you how, actually, I'll just do it. How you doing today, Soaps?
Doing pretty good. They finally got someone to work with me at work, so that's
nice.
cool.
So maybe you won't have to work, what was it, 12 days straight?
No, I still have to do that.
Okay.
I'm not doing it by myself now.
Okay. This was you training someone. That's right. I forgot about that. So you started training the new person at work? Teaching them all the ins and outs?
Yep, and I'm not used to having two people there because I actually got everything done.
Shit.
And so I had like 2 hours left to do shit, so...
Shit. Sooner or later, you just got to be like the Jedi Master. Let the apprentice do everything. Let them do everything. So they got to learn the job, Soapy. So they got to learn by doing. So you can just say, hey, I'm going to have them do it. And then you get to sit on your ass and do whatever you want. I mean, that's what I've dealt with whenever I've learned a job. People are like, well, he needs to learn how to do it, so I'm going to have him do everything so I can just sit back and do whatever I want.
I mean, I've kind of done that before. I mean, I already kind of done that. So the back hallway is the shortest of the 3 hallways in the building.
Yeah.
So I was just like, all right, just do that one. And I just went and fucked off in another part of the building for like a minute.
Sometimes that's how it be, though. That's how it be, where it's like, you know what, I don't want to do work today. I got to have you learn how to do it. Today, I am happy, Soapy, because I made some purchases on Amazon for my home studio. And 2 of them came in today. Not sexy purchases. So if you're looking for anything sexy, I bought a little flash drive because I don't have one. So I'm like, okay, cool. I have a flash drive now. And then this came in. And for those of you at home, this is a nice little blackout curtain that I bought for my window next to me so that I can blot out the sun because sunlight is bad, especially for the camera. I got more shit coming. Tomorrow my lights should be here. So that wasn't good as everything disappeared on our screen, but yeah, I'm excited. Some of the new purchases are coming, making the home studio a little bit better than what it is now, but you're not into that. You're into what we're going to talk about for Games Live today. We got kind of a show today. I want to say jam-packed show again, but we don't. It's just 2 things yet again, because we are entering not just the slow part of the news cycle for gaming, because really, next gen's coming out. We know what's happening there. November and December usually are the slow months, and plus we're in a pandemic, so that kind of all feeds into it. But we got some good stuff today for you. Before we get into it, though, let's get that housekeeping out of the way. Number 1, join the Discord if you have not already. Link down below, or exclamation Discord into Twitch chat. Get you into that great community. If you want to support us, check out patreon.com/MVPvids. You can support us that way, or you can throw us a sub on Twitch, where we are live every Monday through Friday. Twitch.tv/MVPvids. And we're also on YouTube at MVP Entertainment. So go ahead and sub and like all of our shit there as well. Soapy, the first thing we are talking about today, a little Assassin's Creed news. A little Assassin's Creed DLC news, as this is from Polygon.com. Assassin's Creed Valhalla Season Pass includes Beowulf Quest and 2 full expansions. Here's what the article says. Assassin's Creed Valhalla's post-launch content will let players uncover the monstrous truth behind the legend of Beowulf and send them to Ireland and Paris, Ubisoft announced Tuesday. Valhalla's paid Season Pass will include 2 major expansions, but all players will get free seasonal content and a conflict-free discovery tour coming in 2021. Fans who purchase the Gold and Ultimate or Collector's Edition of the game, or who opt for the $39.99 Season Pass, will receive the Legend of Beowulf quest when the game launches in November. plus 2 additional expansions in 2021. In the spring, Wrath of the Druids will take players to Ireland, where they must unravel the mysteries of an ancient and mysterious druid cult through haunted forests and dazzling landscapes. Then in the summer, the Siege of Paris will have them tangling with key historical figures of war-torn Francia, and while they infiltrate the fortified city of Paris and the river Seine. Everyone who purchases the game will also get access to tons of free content. That includes a discovery tour mode, an in-game educational field trip in the same style as Assassin's Creed Origins, plus the following via Ubisoft. And then they have points of like a new settlement area, traditional Viking settlement, new game modes, river raids, the addition of ranks of Jonin Vikings. In Assassin's Creed, players can not only create their lieutenant to be a part of their raiding crew, but also recruit some from their friends and community. And then finally, for each season, Season 1 will also come with new player skills and abilities, weapons, gear, and cosmetic items. Soapy, we are now less than a month away from Assassin's Creed Valhalla. It comes out the same day that the Xbox Series X comes out. What are your thoughts on the DLC news that we have for Assassin's Creed coming out today?
I mean, it's interesting to the point of I wonder how they're gonna handle the like mythology stuff in this game. And the only reason I'm saying that is because Beowulf is basically a mythology thing for like Celtic for
Mm-hmm.
people of like Ireland.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be interesting to see how they handle it.
Mm-hmm.
Because I know Origins fucking just went all out, like they were basically like physical embodiments of gods and shit like that.
Yeah.
And Odyssey kind of toned it back, like, they're here, but not really.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, for me, because so those of you who are new to the show, for me with the Assassin's Creed mythology, I attempted to play one when the first one came out way a long time ago. Didn't get through it. There was stuff with my system at the time where I was like, fuck it, this ain't working for me. And Assassin's Creed Odyssey was the first one that I like dove into, played it all the way through. And I'll say the DLC for me for Odyssey didn't really grab me in, especially the first one, I'll say, because I went all out with it. I bought the I think it was the collector's edition, whichever was the one that came in like the metal case. It was like the metal PlayStation case, and on the front it had the gold skull with like the black background. That was the version of the game I bought because I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna play all of this. I'm diving into it. I don't want to pay for a season pass. I will just buy the more expensive version of the game and just get all the DLC that comes with it. And the first DLC that came out, I remember playing it after beating the game, and there was a part of me that was, I kind of want to use the word underwhelmed, to where I was like, okay, this doesn't really like, maybe it was because I was burnt out by putting in so many hours just to beat the game, because I also 100%ed it for the Platinum Trophy. Maybe it was a combination of that, but it was like that first DLC didn't pull me back into the game like I wanted to. So like after that, I didn't check out any of the other DLCs, and I went on to other games. Is there a worry that Valhalla might be like that, Soapy? Or am I on the outside with Odyssey, where it's like, I don't know what you're talking about, Ricky. The DLCs were not like that for me.
It's gonna mostly depend. Once again, it's like we just don't exactly know how it's gonna turn out.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, it's you enjoyed the gameplay from Odyssey, if I remember correctly.
Yep, one of my favorite games from that year.
Yeah, and one of the things that we saw was that the gameplay is exactly the same.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna assume the storytelling's pretty similar.
Mm-hmm.
because every single Assassin's Creed game has the exact same story of,
Yeah.
I don't know why I'm an assassin, but I am now.
Well, plus we know that the what's it called? The Animus, is that what it's called?
Yeah,
Basically, from Odyssey, it was we've got this spear. Let's put it into the machine and put you into this bed of water so that you become X person in your story.
yeah. So we'll figure out what fucking artifact it is this time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't
Because,
know. I don't. It'll probably be like some fucking like, here's an old axe of a Viking. Let's go ahead and put that into the machine.
I mean, that's probably what it's going to be.
Mm-hmm.
Either that or it's going to be like his hidden blade or something.
Yeah.
Because typically it's something that like the characters use.
Mm-hmm. So like for Odyssey, it was the blade of Leonidas, because that was the one thing that you went back to that one island with the cave, and you went back and that was like your main weapon that you would upgrade.
Yeah. Because there's that. Origins, I think it was Hermes' boots.
Okay.
I still got no fucking idea why Hermes' boots are in Greece or in Egypt, but
I mean,
you do you, pimp.
You said Greece, that's where they should be. First off, it should be in Greece.
Well, it's also by that point of when Origins happened that they shouldn't have even fucking existed because the Greeks weren't around yet. I mean, they were around, but they weren't.
Wouldn't you think like it'd be like Cleopatra something or like
Cleopatra
Ramses
definitely was not
something?
alive by this point.
Well, I'm trying to think of in my big dumb brain, going back to like fucking 5th grade, to where it's like, what were some of those names I learned about Egypt? And the two that fucking come to my mind are like Cleopatra and Ramses are the main two that I, throughout my life, have learned about. Of like, oh, those are big Egyptian names.
Yeah, the only thing is though, you'd have to go back really far for these because this is when like Egypt was like first. I mean, it wasn't like first around. This is like around the time they built the Great Pyramids.
Okay.
Which was fucking forever ago.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm just saying though, dude. If I get to see fucking Druids building a Stonehenge and Assassin's Creed gives me my way of finding out how exactly that happened. Knowing my life, they're just gonna be like, "Oh yeah, Templars built it because fuck me." We're going back to the original. Yeah, we're taking the Assassin's Creed fucking every other game approach. The Templars built the fucking Stonehenge.
The thing that I will say though that I like about from what we're hearing today about Assassin's Creed Valhalla's DLC is there's a part of me that likes how it's going to be 3 DLCs. And the first one you get right when the game launches. Like, for me, I'm the kind of person where I like that. To where it's like, give me something right out the gate. Because that's going to reward the people that are like, I'm going to beat the game in a weekend. I'm going to go ahead and beat the game as quickly as possible. Because it keeps them raveled into that game. Plus, there are going to be other people that kind of go a little bit slower than that they'll beat the game before the second DLC, and they can jump right into that first DLC and kind of keep the quality of life of your game going so that it doesn't just die out immediately after that game. Are you on the same page? Like, so I haven't asked you this question. Are you on the same page with that model with games? To where it's like, we're going to give you the DLC right away, instead of like, it's not going to be right away, but you'll have to wait a little bit for that first DLC.
I've always been more on the side of I'd rather wait for DLC rather than have it at launch. And like, yes, it works out well for the people that, they like rush through the game, they beat it in like a day or two. But then at the same time, personally to me, when people do that, I almost, and I'm gonna sound
it's like are
I'm
you really enjoying your game?
Yeah. And like, obviously, don't get me wrong, like, there are people who like just naturally play through games really quickly. But for instance, like, there's always like those types of people that they're then the ones that, like, I always have said, like, you can weed those people out kind of in games of where they beat the game, they're like, oh, I beat the game in a day, there's nothing to do now. And like, they use that as a platform to like to trash the game, and it's like, I'm sorry, your fat ass sat in your chair for 15 hours.
Yeah.
Out your fucking mouth the whole time.
I mean, it kind of goes like to while you eat stuff. It's like, are you going to be like Ricky and scarf down your food so fast to where it's like, holy shit, Ricky, did you even enjoy that food? Or are you kind of going to sit there and be like, hey, I'm going to go a little moderate pace here. I'm going to enjoy and kind of take in what I am playing so that it's not just like, oh, well, I'm done with that game, on to the next one. Because one of the most things that I'm excited for Assassin's Creed Valhalla is kind of exploring the entire universe of the game. Because I don't know if Origins was like this. I don't know how many Assassin's Creeds before Odyssey were like this, but the one thing I loved about Odyssey was how big the world was that they made, but at the same time, how much detail there was into the world that they put you into, where even while I'm doing a quest or going somewhere, I would come by something and notice something in the background or in the environment that I would have to stop and take a second to look at and appreciate in the game.
Those are kind of common in some of the older Assassin's Creed games.
Mm-hmm.
Not as common as in like games in like Odyssey and Origins, and it's mostly because those began to focus more on like the broader scale.
Yeah.
Because for instance,
Because was Origins open world-ish like Odyssey?
Yeah, Origins was the first game of that style for Assassin's Creed.
Okay.
Because a lot of the games are open world. It's just Origins and Odyssey are such odd commodities to the older games because the older games kind of have that cookie cutter. And by cookie cutter, I mean that shit's made in a fucking assembly line. Well, they're just like, all right, we got 10 Assassin's Creed games lined up for the next year, but like this one is where they're actually putting like time and effort into it, and they're making sure that like, okay, like, you know, everything is like handcrafted. And where, for instance, it's not like, oh, something in like Black Flag is gonna pop up in Rogue, even though they're basically the same fucking game. But it's just kind of something of, it's, I hope there's a lot of exploration stuff in this game, and the reason why is because it's like that's something that they've always done pretty well, is like putting historical figures and things like that like interwoven into the story. Obviously, there are sometimes they do some absolute wacky shit.
Yeah.
Of where I think it was Assassin's Creed 3, they were like, George Washington wanted to, or not George Washington. Actually, yeah, it was George Washington wanted to kill Connor, and he was gonna sick the whole U.S. military on him. I'm like, don't you have a bigger fucking problem to deal with, home dog? I don't know. Could it be the British fucking military, not some not some guy who just showed up? He's like, I don't want to work for you. He's like, that's it, time to kill you.
It's it, time to end your life because you're more important than this invasion that's going on.
Yeah. But yeah, it's. I don't know exactly what they're doing. Sorry for all the banging. It's sitting here itching my head, and my fat ass arm keeps hitting my head.
You good.
But like I'm interested to see how they combine like a lot of those along with if they do mythology with it, because obviously Viking mythology more or less of you're just gonna 90% of the time just get ready to hear, oh, Odin's here the whole fucking game.
Yeah, I mean, how many times can we mention Odin in this game? I'm pretty much prepared for it. And the thing that I'm trying to look it up because I saw it over the weekend. I think it was IGN that came out with it. Was basically they got their early hands-on with it. And they made a video or an article that apparently, based off of their time playing the like early demo of the Valhalla, I think it was a demo or it could have been their early, just here's the game. They were describing this game as the most ambitious Assassin's Creed. And it's like, that's kind of what I want from this, to where, based off of what you said. Now, I know I didn't play Origins. I played Odyssey, but you have Origins was ambitious in its own right because, like you said, it was the first kind of, hey, we're going to this open world style, because I'm assuming there might have been a couple people that were like, okay, this could be a new, fresh way to play an Assassin's Creed game, but there could be other people at the time that were like, I don't know how this is going to go because this isn't usually what I look for in an Assassin's Creed game. Then you had Odyssey that just built upon that. Now the third game with that new style, this is one where it's like I don't want it to be safe like Odyssey, to where it's like, for me at least, Odyssey didn't have anything in its gameplay that was like, wow, this is ambitious. Maybe the boat battles, but I'll be honest, I hated the boat battles with a passion. Any time that I could spend not on that fucking boat in Assassin's Creed Odyssey, the better. I remember there was a couple of the, because if you haven't played Odyssey, your fault, it's been 2 years. You have to like go around for one of the stories and like find the hidden members of this group, and then when you unveil who they are, a couple of them were in the ocean, where every single one of those, I was sitting there, basically think of me sitting there with my controller going, oh fuck, I gotta fucking do a boat battle, because it was the worst goddamn thing in the world for me. I absolutely hated it, to where like, other than that, it was a good game. It was a really good game, but there wasn't anything on my side that was like, wow, this is super ambitious, to where I'm excited to jump into Valhalla to see, okay, we've come out with the open world. That's what Origins was. We built upon that. We really focused. I feel like they focused really hard on the story for Odyssey, making the story everything it could be. Now in Valhalla, okay, what are we going to do? What risk are we going to take in Valhalla that we can now do, because this is the third game in that open world play style?
Yeah, and obviously I know that they've talked about like the raiding parties and stuff like that, and that's kind of what I'm excited to see.
Maybe it's just more of a multiplayer thing then, right?
Well, no, I don't think that one's going to be multiplayer. I think it's
Okay.
more or less of... I almost wanted to say I think that's going to kind of be how they do... I was almost going to say how the idea that Shadow of Mordor and or more or less Shadow of War,
Yeah.
how they kind of had it like you convert the orcs to your side,
Okay.
and basically they act as kind of like you can make them go out and do shit for you. Like I kind of think they're gonna maybe try to integrate something like that. Like I think there's a strong chance they do that. I kind of hope it's not just how it works in Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, because Brotherhood kind of had something like that where you basically build your own Assassin's Guild, but it fucking stunk. It was a terrible feature. There was, because one, it was broken as fuck, because they would literally one-shot anybody.
Yeah.
No matter what. And it just kind of got annoying. And whenever they would do that with other stuff, like, I hope it doesn't also turn out like how the pirate crew thing was for
And Black Flag.
Yeah, because with that one, that also got really boring. Of like, okay, let me go to my map and say, hey, go do this with this ship. It's like, I don't care. Yeah. I'm not gonna lie, there's a lot of shit I'd rather do in my life.
The thing that in my realm of understanding that you're kind of explaining is like, if I related it to the World of Warcraft side of things, it kind of sounds like when Warlords of Draenor came out, there was a new mechanic that Blizzard introduced called garrisons, where it's basically like, this is every single person for every toon is going to have a garrison that you get resources for. You have NPCs that you, throughout different quests and stuff, can get the, like, after you complete it, oh, you've recruited someone to your crew to go out on these little war missions to get you additional gear or additional XP. And I remember when WoD was out, that was one of the main criticisms of it, that not a lot of people liked the whole garrison thing from that expansion. So that's what it kind of sounds like. I looked up at a Collider article. And what they say about it is, don't be afraid to raid. Battles may be the main event, but raiding is essentially a training ground for those bigger, more brutal brawls. You'll have more than enough chances to raid, pillage, and plunder up, down, and all around the small divided England you're working to unite. You'll be able to spot raids easily because they're both marked on your general map of England, and they're I can't read the word. I'm fucking stupid. Demarcated in the actual game. You'll be able to engage in a raid by going from your longboat to your Viking crew and steering into the shore. Raids are meant to be a brief and bloody, a sort of proving for the bigger battles. As such, the number of bodies you have to plow through will be relatively more manageable to take down. Once you get through the raid, whatever goods are lying around the settlement or village you're in are yours to keep. Welcome to the spoils of Viking life. So it sounds like, just from that, it sounds like something you'd expect to be in a Viking game, because what do you expect Vikings to do? Pillage, raid, pillage, take whatever they want from that town. I'll be honest, I can't wait for this game. I know, Soapy, you can't wait for this game. We're very excited for it. JD in Twitch chat even said, I know this was a long time ago, but he said he's extremely excited for AC on PS5, as I am, because I'm going to be getting it on PlayStation, not Xbox. But we'll have to wait and see what comes from that. And then, Soapy, the last thing we're talking about today, because only 2 topics on the show for this fine Tuesday, is... So this is from an article from Polygon. Dungeons and Dragons Cookbook serves up comfort food alongside deep cuts of lore. Here's what the article says. I'm not one for geeky kitchen accessories. You'll never catch me with an Enterprise-shaped pizza cutter, for instance, or using a carving knife that looks like a laser sword. Come on, dude. You gotta have a fucking lightsaber carving knife. Come on now.
I was gonna say, they make that sound nerdy. That's just a fucking good, just a good investment.
Like, come on now. Marshall Erickson fucking at Thanksgiving. Everyone put on your goggles, using the lightsaber now. Come on. Likewise, I'm picky about my recipes. First off, I don't even want to read the rest of this article, because this guy sounds like they are... I don't know. I'm getting the wrong tone right away. I'm going to skip ahead. That's partly blah, blah, blah. Not what I'm looking for. A new offering from 10 Speed Pass succumbs to neither of those pitfalls, titled Heroes Feast, the official Dungeons & Dragons cookbook. It's 212 pages of high-quality comfort food, plus a heaping helping of D&D lore. The lore starts with the name of the book itself, which refers to the 6th level conjuration spell from D&D's 5th edition rule set. Inside, the hardcover is divided into thematic chapters, including one for each human, elven, dwarven, and halfling cuisines. Each of the first few chapters culminate with an in-fiction menu from one of D&D's multiverse's most famous inns and taverns, plus details on how to recreate them. Here you'll find the Broad of Fare from Waterdeep's The Yawning Portal, Greyhawk's The Green Dragon Inn, and Corinne's The Inn of the Last Home. Note that the book is likely the last you'll ever see anything from the Dragonland series for quite some time. Let's see what they've got here. In the article, you can make Yawning Portal buttermilk biscuits. You can go ahead and there's Fried Fingers, Deep Gnome, Thrill Mod Pods, Dwarven Mull Wine in this. They've got Halfling-themed honeyed ham with pineapple gravy. Soapy, basically the question I wanted to ask with this, because I know you and me love food. And for you and yourself, I know for a fact that you love thematic cookbooks, as you've told me many times about the WWE cookbook. that has the great recipe like Al Snow peas in it.
Yeah.
Do you think this is a must-have for any nerd out there, especially any D&D nerd?
I definitely would say so. If you're into thematic cookbooks, this is a must get, and it's mostly just because it's especially like if you've played the D&D adventures before. Like
Mm-hmm.
if you haven't played them before, like they're not gonna make as much sense.
Yeah.
Because I think if I remember correctly, literally in the like in the adventure book for it,
Mm-hmm.
if you're reading through it as a DM, they have like a whole fucking list of shit that like they know your players are gonna ask.
Mm-hmm.
It's that's the thing that I always love about adventure modules and D&D is the writers know your players are about to ask you the stupidest shit you would never need to know.
I also looked it up on Amazon. 80 recipes in this. 80 fucking recipes
May
in
as
this
well
book.
just serve all this. But yeah, I'm excited for it, especially because I almost wonder how much they're gonna focus on the Waterdeep stuff because
Mm-hmm.
Waterdeep is Waterdeep, Waterdeep or Curse of Strahd are probably the biggest like the biggest known adventures.
Yeah.
Mostly because they're very like introductory level stuff
Mm-hmm.
of where like you're not getting like into the deep end
Mm-hmm.
and instantly jump into a world that no one fucking knows about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So
I'm excited for it.
I'm looking here, more information on it because this did a better job than the article. Heroes Feast includes recipes for snacking, such as elven bread, iron rations, savory hand pies, and orc bacon, as well as hearty vegetarian meaty and fish mains, such as Amphale based beef, Hamlet golden brown roasted turkey, drow mushroom steaks, and pan-fried knucklehead trout, all which pair perfectly with a side of Otik's famous fried spiced potatoes. There are also featured desserts and cocktails, such as Heartland's rose apples and blackberry pie, Troll Tide candied apples, at our Eve Mead, potion of restoration and good berry blend, and everything in between to satisfy a craving for anti-adventure. I'm going to be completely honest. I'm probably after the show. So right now, if you want to pre-order it, it comes out the 27th of October. So I think that's next Tuesday. Yeah, next Tuesday, a week from today, you'll be able to get this cookbook. You can pre-order it now just so everyone knows. If you're going to get the hardcover edition, that is going to be costing you about $25. It's about $25.16 on Amazon Prime. I'm honest, Soapy. I'm gonna fucking pre-order this. I'm gonna get the Kindle version. It's about $15 for the Kindled version. And fuck it, I'm gonna get this. I'm gonna fucking cook up some D&D food because especially if you're like, I know right now with the pandemic, D&D groups are kind of a little hard to get together because, like Soapy, you've told me one of the big things that plays into D&D is getting everyone together, and it's already hard to do that, but during a pandemic, it's even harder to do that. This to me seems like the must-have if after when we live in a post-pandemic world, if you're going to be getting together with your crew, with your D&D buddies, this is a must-have because what you can basically do is, hey, tonight's D&D night, we're going to be cooking up some stuff, have some food, while we go ahead and go through our latest adventure for tonight. So for me, fuck it. I'm going to pre-order it. I'm going to make some of this food. Any final thoughts, Soapy, before we end this very short edition of MVP Games Live?
No, that's basically it. Just thematic cookbooks are good.
Mm-hmm.
And there need to be more thematic cookbooks.
Is there any thematic cookbook that would be your favorite besides maybe the WWE cookbook?
And the only reason the WWE one's my favorite is because fucking it's written by JR, so there's just a whole bunch of JR quotes all throughout it.
And of course, Al Snow's peas.
I mean, yeah, dude, of course. Or fucking Big Boss Man's cookie recipe of just buy just buy some cookies at the store and make them. Or a hashtag discs of ham.
Oh, I forgot to bring up the one thing I was going to bring up as a little like throwaway here at the end. And this is something that you mentioned to me but I want to get your thoughts on it. Is we've got another, to me, and I say this as a joke, we got another Pokemon to the polls moment, Soapy.
Oh no!
Because and Polygon put an article out about it. Is so AOC is going to be streaming Among Us on Twitch to encourage voting. Guess who is going to be streaming alongside AOC while playing Among Us?
Why do I feel like it's going to be Kamala Harris? I don't think it would be.
No. Actual gamers. So Ocasio Cortez first floated the idea of a stream on October 19th, tweeting that she'd never played the game, but might play it as a way to get out the vote. After that, she put out a call for people to play with her, recruiting Pokimane and Piker in the process. So it looks like this is going to happen. She said, join me, Pokimane LOL, and Hassan the Hun and more on Twitch tonight. So this is going on October 20th as we help folks make a voting plan at iwillvote.com and officially declare orange sus on Among Us. And then she used an orange emoji. Is it bad that I smiled and chuckled, but also cringed a little when she put in the tweet, officially declare orange sus?
I mean, dude, I'm not gonna lie. That's an absolute banger of a tweet. I ain't gonna lie. See, the only reason
I get what you're doing there, and I kind of appreciate it, but at the same time, there's a part of me that's like I'm cringing just a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, the only reason why I don't think that one's as cringe as Pokemon Go to the polls is because I'm gonna be brutally fucking honest. You cannot tell me she knew what Pokemon Go was,
dude. Hillary was like the grandma that was like, "So we playing the Pokemans today?"
Yeah, with AOC, it's at least like, okay, like
I know
she
how
seems
this
like
works.
she knows what she's talking about. Yeah, and also plus, orange sus is something that I mean, obviously, it's kind of transcended it now. Of everyone's just gonna kill that meme in like a couple of days. So.
Yeah.
Memes don't have a shelf life anymore. It's sad.
Who knows? Maybe we watch. So 9 p. See, here's the only thing I don't.
I'm not watching it. If that's what you were about to tell me, I'm not watching.
No. I might watch it tonight. That's for sure. But here's the only thing I don't like about it. Yes, the article helps me out here and says 9 p.m. 9 p.m. EST. But in her tweet, she just says, tune in 9 p.m. tonight at twitch.com/AOC. And there's a part of me that's basically just like, you got to put a time zone in there, my guy. Or my girl here. You gotta put a time zone in there, because what if I'm thinking it's Central Time? Like, come on. You can't just default to the Eastern Time Zone. But that is going to do it for MVP Games Live today. Thank you guys for sticking along with us. Hopefully there's more gaming news tomorrow. If not, Soapy and I will find things to talk about. If you have any ideas, patreon.com/MVPvids, silver and above supporters can ask us their questions, kind of a reader mail type thing. So go ahead, support us there. Give us ideas for what you would like us to talk about on the show. Also join the Discord, link down below if you're on YouTube, !Discord. If you are in Twitch chat, join that great community. We're here on Twitch every Monday through Friday, twitch.tv/MVPvids, but we're also on YouTube at MVP Entertainment as well. I want to thank you guys for listening today. I want to thank you guys for watching today. Dave and I will be live shortly after this. Usually we go for about another 20 or so minutes, so it might be a little bit longer today, but we will be live with MVP Sports Live after this one, so stay tuned for that. Soapy and I will be back tomorrow, but as always, have a good day, everybody.